Hello. Have you ever had a problem where you go and put in your headset, go to try to listen to your favorite tunes on your phone, open up your music app, hit play, and realize you forgot to turn the media volume down? Yeah, that really sucks. So today I'm going to show you how to save your ears using an app called Tasker. Now, if you're not familiar with what Tasker is, it's pretty much a full system automation app. It allows you to create tasks and trigger them with different features or functions of your phone. So for instance, with this tutorial today, I'm going to show you how to turn down your media and your ringer volume before you launch an app. That way you don't blow your eardrums out. And that's all going to happen or be triggered by plugging in your headset. So to do that, you first go into the Tasker app. Now I do want to point out mine's got the black backdrop. What I've done is gone here into preferences and change the theme, which is right there, to dark. So you just change it right there. And then you'll have to back out and go back in for it to change. So I wanted to bring that up because if it's your first time opening the app, it's going to be all white and look very different. So don't be alarmed, it is the same app. So let's get on into this. What you need to do is first set up a profile. Profile is pretty much what is going to trigger whatever you're going to do with your device. It's going to trigger the next step, would be a task. So for this one, we're going into the state. So the state of the device is going to trigger this, and we want to use a hardware function that triggers it. And you notice it says headset plugged right here, because that's what we're doing it. So when a headset's plugged in, it's going to do something. So in this one, you get an option to choose any mic or no mic. Basically, I recommend do any because you don't have to worry about which one you're plugging in depending on what's going to happen. But if you don't want the volume to be turned down when you have one with a mic on, go ahead and change that. It's all personal preference. But like I said, leave it on any to begin with, and that pretty much solves all your problems. Up in here, you have this little back area. It's easy to find by the gear, but there is a little arrow there if you can't see it in the video. You can hit your back button, but I always recommend use this so you know you're actually backing out, okay? And it's going to automatically bring you in here and ask for a new task, because if you have a trigger, you're going to need a task for it. So let's get into there. Optional to name it. I do recommend it, that way when you start making more tasks, you're able to find them easier. So for this one, we're just going to name it ear safe. So if I can spell right, ear safe, and hit the check, and that'll bring you into your task editor. So it automatically jumps in to the next tab over, which is tasks, and gets you into editing them. So first thing we're going to do is hit the plus, and this adds a new function or task. So the first thing we want to do is turn down the ringer volume. So you hit audio and go right here to where it says ringer volume. This brings up the little ringer action edit. Gives you a decent amount of options here. First one you want to do, turn it down. Now, I like to leave it on level 1 so I can still hear it in case somebody calls. I can't always feel, the vibration. Typically when I'm listening to music with my phone, I'm out, out walking or hiking or something like that. So I'm moving around, I really don't feel the vibration. So I like to hear it a little bit. If you don't want to hear it at all, go ahead and put it to 0. It's all a personal preference. Get a couple other options here. The if and the label and stuff like that, you don't really need to worry about that at all with this. That's more advanced stuff, not needed in this tutorial. But I do like to turn on display. If you just check that box, what it's going to do is pop up the ringer. So, like when you're changing that, you get that little pop-up. That's what it's going to do. So that allows that. And then the beeping sound it makes when you're changing it, that's what sound is. I don't really care to hear that. I just want to see it pop up, kind of confirming that it's doing something. So I go ahead and hit back. Next step I want to do, which this is a personal preference, is not necessary, but when those boxes pop up, if you notice, you wait, it's still there, right? So a few seconds before it goes away, I like to actually say or tell the action to wait a minute while it clears itself out. So to do that, I don't exactly remember where it's located in here because I've gotten spoiled to using filter. You can type in whatever you want. So I know I'm looking for the wait command. I just type in wait and there it is. And basically what this is, if you're familiar with any other styles of programming, it's a delay function. So there's delay or wait, same thing. and it's just going to wait X amount of time that you put. So you can do milliseconds, seconds, hours, days. So you can really have it wait for a long time. But for this one, I'm just waiting for that little dialog box to pop out, go away. So give it a couple seconds there. I'll just give 3 for this example. And there it is, 3 seconds, hit back. Now you have set the ringer volume to level 1 and wait 3 seconds. Then you add another one because we want to, again, go into the audio functions and turn down the media volume. Media volume, same thing. I like to leave it on level 1 because I do want to hear that my music is on. You know, I don't want to have to like hit play and be like, wait, what's wrong? Why is it not working? And forget that it automatically turned down. So put it to level 1, again, display. For some reason, this doesn't always display after a ringer volume change is displayed. Some of my devices have shown both. This one, for some reason, doesn't always show it. I've seen it a couple times pop up. So I just want to point that out because even though it's checked, it may not actually show that second volume change. It'll show ringer, but it won't show media. It is happening. You know, you can test it out a couple times before, just so you know it actually is. So set that level 1 and then go back again. I'm going to set another wait. And again, few seconds there. And pretty much you're set. If that's all you want to do, you're done. So now when I plug in the headset, it's going to turn down the ringer volume, it'll wait, it'll turn down the media volume and wait a little bit longer. And one other function, if that's where you want to finish it at, one other thing to add is the stop command. And what this does is tells the task, you're done. Don't do anything more, don't think about anything, don't try to loop. You know, it shouldn't loop. It doesn't really necessarily matter that you put that in, but it's a good thing to get in the habit of because if something happens, you know, if something goes wrong and it's trying to fix itself, it just knows once it gets here, it stops and that's it. It turns off. That way it's not having to fight itself or looping or doing anything weird, okay? But I'm gonna get rid of that because I'm gonna show you a little bit more what you can do with this. So let's back out and go into the next tab over here called Scenes. Scenes is a really fun feature because it allows you to create full-on menus, dialog boxes. You can even do like search through it, all sorts of things. So this one, I'm going to make it a very simple one. It's just going to be a simple question with a yes and no option. So to do that, you make sure you're on Scenes, hit the plus, and you must name, this is not optional, you have to name the scenes because later on you're going to tell the task what scene to activate. All right. So here I'm just going to do headset in. So headset in, and hit the check mark. And then you're given a little setup here with this, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's got a faded out box that you can actually slide and resize and all that good stuff. And it sets it up with your currently in use background wallpaper, so you can kind of get an idea of where it's gonna sit. I have noticed it doesn't always show the exact size, so you know, just use it as relation with what you want to do. So basically, I'm gonna make a box about that size. Now, if you notice, it's kind of in, you know, slightly ghosted in there, I guess it would be. I want to make that a little bit darker, so if I go into the properties, I can come down here to background color, and I can move the slider. Now you see it's on white. I want it to go to black. And you have your different opacities that you can change with this slider bar, so it's see-through or not. And just give it a little bit of see-through, and then hit OK, and come back out. And there you are. So now you can see I got the box. Now, a couple options on this screen. You have this little hand here. This allows you to do normal, which you can see I'm able to move it around by myself like that. Or you can go into resize and it pops up these arrows, so you can do like real fine tuning if you need to. For this setup, it's not really that important. It's just going to be a quick little dialog box. So once you're happy with the way the full background is going to look, then you get into the editing part. You hit that little magnifying glass to zoom in, and you want to start adding elements. So the first element we're going to do is add some text. So you go in, slide down to text here, and the text up here is the name of that text box that you're putting there. That's not the actual text that's going to show up. That's down here where it says text and optional. And that's what is actually going to be typed on there. So here I'm going to put, would you like to open the window. Or sorry, open the music app. This is very awkward typing from this angle here. So anyways, there. Would you like to open the music app? Because it's going to be up on the top, I want to make the text a little bit larger. Go to 20. But it gives you, as you can see, all sorts of little functions here. You can do text size, your width percentage, text color, if you want it centered or not, and so on. And you also notice they have all these items up on top. I'll show you a little bit more of that later, but you can do what the background of it's going to be if you know, because it's going to be a box. So you can put a separate background box. You can add functions like tap, long tap, or stroke. So you can make that do 3 separate things. By tapping once, it'll do something. You tap and hold, it'll bring up menus or whatever you want it to do. Or you can like slide across it, and then that'll do a 3rd function. So it gives you a lot of stuff that you can do just with text right there. What I'm going to do is make the text slightly different. Actually, I'll just leave it on white. That'll be fine. Just for demonstration purposes. So now I got it. It's going to say what would you want it to do, or do you want to open up a music app and in white text. So pretty simple. Go back out and now you can see it. Well, kind of, right? All you have to do is start dragging the box to modify the text, and you can move that wherever you want. So if you drag on the edges, it's going to resize. If you drag in the middle, it'll allow you to move it around. So you just kind of put it to where you feel it looks fine for you. And yeah, that's good enough. And then now you want to be able to answer that question, right? So I left some space down here for a yes and a no. Now you can, like I showed, just put the text and that's sufficient. But I like to give it a little bit more room in case I don't hit properly. So also to help you see more functions in this here, you add another element and put a rectangle. And at the beginning, I just like to use it the way it is, and just so I can resize it and all that stuff on my own. So I don't change anything, I just back up. It gives me the box. That way I can go ahead and resize it and see, yeah, I like it the way it is right there. Now I want to make another box to put into this area. So instead of having to go through plus and go to that, if you press and hold on an element, it'll bring up the menu and you can actually copy. And to get the paste function, then you hit the plus and paste is right up on top. And pretty simple. It allows you to edit. It takes you right into the edit of the new paste that you just did. So if you want to change something on that, which I'll show you in a minute, I will. And you set up like that. So just hit back, or like I said up there, and it gives you the box. You move it around and place it. And that looks decent. Maybe I'll make it a little bit wider. There we go. So now I got 2 boxes and what I would like it to do. So because I'm going to make these boxes the actual tap sections of what I'm going to edit, go ahead and tap into it, and then you bring on over to this here. And that's your tap. So when I tap that, what do I want it to do? Well, that side is going to be my yes. So go ahead and hit a new one. And this time what I'm going to do, when I hit yes, I want to launch my music app. So you go into app, and then you come over to load app, and it brings up all your applications that you have available to see. And so right here is my music. I'm just using the generic one. You can put it to Google Music or Spotify or whatever music app you prefer. You can even set up extra boxes, you know, to say Google whatever you want to say. It's all your choice there. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to use the stock music app. And gives you options if you want to change what data it's going to have and stuff. I really don't mess with that. Again, more advanced stuff for later. So hit back. Now it's set to the music app. Now this is sufficient, but I've noticed sometimes what will happen is when you hit yes, your music app opens, everything works fine, but then when you back out, that dialog box is still open. So to make sure that the dialog box closes, I want to add another function here and go into scene, which is what it is. And you want it to destroy scene. Now, I know destroy scene sounds horrific, and it's like, wait, no, I don't want to destroy that, I just want it to go away. That is what it says, or that is what it is. Destroy means to just get rid of it. It closes it down, it's done. It's not going to remove it, it's not going to delete it or anything like that. It's just shutting it down, so it's no longer active. All right, and it automatically popped up the headset in scene because that's the only one I have right now. But if it didn't pop that up, you can use your magnifying glass here and it'll give you a list of all your scenes. So you can go through and search through them, okay? Let's back up here. And now I got it set. When I hit the yes side, it'll load the music app and destroy the scene. And that's it. Pretty simple, right? You back up. Now I want to change for this one. It's going to be my no side. So let's tap into there. And I don't necessarily need the tap for launch anything, but I do need it to tap and destroy the scene. So when I hit no, just tapping that thing is going to come on in and say, okay, well fine, I'll go away then. Destroy the scene, headset in, destroy scene, and that's it. So now I have two of them. This one will launch the app and destroy the scene. This one will just destroy the scene, nothing more. And like I said, if you want to do more functions, you can actually make smaller boxes and do stock music app. You can do Spotify, you can do Google Music, whatever you use. So you can make multiple taps. So now, you can look at it if you like and see, like, well, wait a minute, that looks kind of plain. How am I going to know which one's which? So let's give those two boxes labels. Go back in, add. Let's add some text. And remember, this is just a name. That's not what it's going to say. What it's going to say is down here. So first one is going to be, yes, I do want to. And back out of the keyboard, back out. Give you that box and you just drag it on over and put it where you like it. All right. Now with this one, I think I want to make that text a little bit larger. So I'll come over here and let's make it a 24. Go back out. Yeah, that looks a little bit better, right? So I could go through and, start a new thing, hit the plus and all that, but just go and press and hold. Oops. Not move it, just press and hold. Copy, plus, paste. And it automatically brought me in here. See, it's the text 2-1, the way they put it, or 21. But it says yes still, so I want to change that to no. Because I'm going to make my no text now. Hit the keyboard, go back, and there we go. Now we have our no. Same size and everything. The reason I point out that copy paste feature is because if you're going through and editing color, size, and all that, and you want it to be the exact same color and size, instead of copying and pasting or memorizing what numbers of color that you use and all that, copy paste makes it real easy to do. So there we go. Now we have our question, which is just a static, text up on top, and then you have these two functions. Now, one thing I'm going to point out, if you notice, when I added these, I added the text last. So they're sitting on top. Everything, all the elements stack upward as you're putting things on. So you're going to want to make sure that those are in the back, behind the box. So if you set that, you can set the depth, this last one here. And this allows you, so it's on the fourth highest. So there's 1, 2, 3. Let's see how we added them. We added the text, we added the two boxes, that's 3. And then we added the fourth one, which is yes, and then the fifth one. So if I put fifth, there's 5 elements. That's the fifth highest one. I want it to be all the way on the bottom, so I'll just slide it down to 1. So now that drops it behind that. If you notice, see how it's grayed out? And I'm going to go change that in a minute here. Let's do the same thing to the no. Oops, I didn't mean to tap it. You press and hold. It brings up the menu, set depth, and we can just set that to 1 or 2. It'll move the next one up. So now, the reason why they're great is because those two boxes have some sort of opacity to them. They're not 100% clear. So you tap it, and if you notice, we're in the rectangle now. We're not on that text anymore. That's because it's up again. We moved it. So if you come to your color, hit the magnifying glass, and take the slider, just bring it all the way down. Now it's see-through. Completely clear box, just basically a placeholder where you can touch something. And back out of there. Now you can see it's white again. Go back into that box. Do the same thing. Hit OK, and back out. So now, if you hit this magnifying glass, it'll show you how it'll look. We got a decent little thing. Pops up, gives you a message, let you know yes or no, and so on. You can do all sorts of other little artistic things, like, for instance, I like to add a line underneath here, which I guess I can show you, because it is a little tricky when you want to add a really fine line. The way to do that is you come in, make a rectangle. At least is the way I do it. I'm sure there's another way. And before you really do too much here, just back out and size it. So this gives you, you want to put it more or less where it's going to be, and put the center of the box where you want the line to be. Because if you'll notice, when I shrink it down, it'll only go so small. See how it doesn't get can't make it to a fine line, and then it gets kind of difficult to move around. So bring it to here. First thing I like to do is bring up the little finger because it gives you more options to edit, resize, and so on. And we want to resize it. So I want to make sure the edges are all the way out. Just a couple taps to make them sure they're all the way to the edge of the box. And then right now, I mean, it's hard to see probably in this video, but there are tiny little dots in the background for kind of a guide grid. So you can line up using those if you like. But what I'll do is show you, go back into normal mode, just tap the box. And these are the geometry. So you have your, what is this? The left and the right, or sorry, the left and the height. And then you have your thickness and your height of the actual item. So, this is in relation to where it is on the screen, and this is in relation to the size of the item or the box there. So this one is going to be the height. So I'm going to want to shrink it down to about, let's just do 3 pixels. So it's going to be a real fine line like how these things are in here. So you back out. And now you see I got this really fine line. Well, this is where a problem is. You try to tap that, it gets really tough to get. So this is another easy thing that they've added. This A through Z. This is going to be all of your elements A through Z. So first off, I want to do this and bring up the move because I'm going to move that bar around. Then you hit the A through Z and you find which one it is. This is where it comes in handy if you name your items. So if you got a whole bunch of elements, it's good to name them so you know which one you're messing with. I'm more positive it's going to be the rectangle 3 possibly because of the third one that I added. And there you go. See how I highlighted in yellow or orange? And you just move it on down. I'll move it up one more. So now I got a line there. Go back to normal, just get rid of those arrows. Now it looks kind of weird, but when you go to this, actually let's choose that and change the color. Let's make it so you can see it. There we are. Back out. There you are. So now you can see it gets a little divider. So there's the question, there's the answers, and you're set. So you're done with that. That's the gist of making a scene. I know when I first looked for scenes, it was kind of difficult to find how do you operate this or what is it exactly. So it took me a lot of looking around, and there are more stuff on it now. If you look up scenes and how to make them, there's a lot of different things you can do. Like I said, from slide out menus and all sorts of things. You can even make a complete home screen overlay with them. They're pretty cool. But for this purpose, like I said, I'm going to keep it simple. And so what we do, go back out. That now sets the scene. So now it's been saved. It's in your scenes tab. So we've got our scenes, we have our tasks, and we have our profile, which triggers the task. So to trigger the scene, we want to go back into our task and then add a new scene. And this one is going to be the show scene. So we want to show what we just had. Again, it automatically popped in our one that we just created because that's the only one on the device. And if you had more and you want to search, you don't want to remember the name, just hit this, it'll bring up the list. So that's in there. Now you get a couple different options here. This first one is display as. You want to choose how you want it to display. Because I set it up as a dialogue, I'm just going to choose a dialogue and keep it normal. Now if you noticed, you can do dim heavily or just regular dim. And those allow it to like completely black out or to slightly black out your background or whatever. Your entire background kind of gives that, forward float look to it. I'm just going to leave it as a standard dialogue, keep it simple. And then you also have your positions. So maybe you don't want it to be in the dead center. You want it to come up here or come down there or however. So you can change that around there. Animation, I like to mess with it just to give it something a little bit more. This allows you to either keep a system animation, whatever is default, or you can change. So it'll fade in from the left or the right, the top, make a roll in, scale. I kind of like the, if I remember right, it's the scale. It'll kind of like, start small and pop up like this. So yeah, just something a little bit extra just to add something fun to it. A lot of them you're going to want to keep that exit button checked just in case, to begin with, just in case, because if you did something wrong, and sometimes there's no way of backing out of the app. So if you forgot to do something in there, then you can be stuck with that and you're going to have to reset your phone in order to do it. Not reset your, all your settings, but like turn off the phone and turn it back on to get back to usability. So leave that checkbox on to begin with, just to test it out. Okay, make sure that's all set. Then after all that, you are pretty much done. So we're gonna do all of these setups. It's going to, when I plug in the headphone, it's gonna ring or turn down the ringer volume, wait, turn down the medium volume, wait, and then show me that scene, giving me the option to start my music app or not. So that's it. You're all set. That you have made your first task if this is your first time, or you have made something to save your ears. Either way, you're probably going to benefit from this one, because I don't know how many times. I know fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, but I fooled myself countless times with my headphones. I get in and just completely blow my eardrums out. So put it in there. Make sure you back all the way out, because if you just leave it, sometimes it won't activate fully. Backing all the way out closes it down, saves it, and activates. And you'll get a little lightning bolt up here, and it's letting you know that there's no active profiles at the moment, but it is running. That Tasker needs this in here to run efficiently. It's not required to run, but if you remove this, some setups are designed to kill applications that are running in the background if they're running inactive for a long time. So that just allows it to stay there. All right, so unfortunately, that's how it is. You can get rid of it, but sometimes it makes the app not work right. So let's test it out. So got our volume all the way set high, just because I'll go in and make sure the media volume is up also. So we got everything on loud, right? Back out to the home. So all I'm doing is plugging in. If you notice, here, I'll even set it down. And all I'm doing is plugging in the headset. If I could find that hole, plug it in and let it do its thing. Set the ringer to 1. Like I said, it doesn't always show the media volume 1, and it pops up the app, letting me know, or pops up the dialog, do I want to open music app, yes or no? So I'm just gonna say yes so you can see it work. Hit yes, and there we go. We're set. And if you notice, when I go back to the home screen, that's been removed. There's no longer a dialog box there. So there you have it. Oh, one thing, many of these will automatically default back to your settings if you remove whatever triggered the task. So this one was a headset in. I'm untriggering it, and you'll notice the volume came back on, but it didn't really turn it all the way up. So to do that, say you want it to go up to a certain volume again, if you go back into your profiles and you click and hold on this side, it gives you an exit task. Exit task is basically meaning when you stop whatever this is over here, which is pulling the headset out, you want it to do something else. So you come in here, now you're exiting, new task. Again, it's optional, I'll just leave it optional right now. And all I'm gonna do, because maybe when I pull my headset out, I don't want to turn the media volume up, but I want to make sure my ringtones are up to an audible level. So come back into audio, go into ringer, and if you notice it's up really high. I don't need it that high with this phone, it's pretty loud as it is. 7 will make me jump out of my skin there. So there we go, put it to 4, I'll display it just because, and we are set. You back out completely, make sure to go all the way out of the app, and now it's done. So I'll show you one more time. This time I'll hit no. Ringtone down. Like I said, media down. Do you want to hear the music right now? No, I'm going to listen to YouTube. So no, and it's gone. That's it. But when I pull the ringer out, it should turn it back up. And there you go. Now it's up to medium volume there. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hopefully it's been informative for you and it really saved your ears. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me down below in the comments. If you have anything that you want to see added to this specific one, I'm not going to be taking requests to build another type of tasker, but I am willing to help you out as best as my knowledge. Technically, I am still learning all the stuff that you can do with this application myself, so as I learn more or as I find some cool new function to build, I will add it. I'm going to put a link down on the video here to another one. If you didn't see my previous tasker thing I did, it's a little bit more in depth, and it's going to show you how to do all sorts of other things with the camera app and stuff, but that one does require root. So anyways, thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, hey, I understand that. Thumbs down too. Whatever, any type of feedback helps. Lets me know which direction to go. But leave those comments. Let me know what you think. All right? Thanks for watching. Bye.